Welcome, boils and ghouls, to the Cryptique Podcast. My name's Kenny. I'm here with my good friend Godden, and together we're here to watch and review every horrific and sometimes hilarious episode of the legendary HBO anthology series, Tales from the Crypt. Oh, we're on it, Godden. We are on it. This is what, take 3?
Yeah, we're on it. we're gonna kill it this time. Yep.
Yeah. We had we messed up the intro a couple of times, and by we I mean I did. So here we are, ready to talk about season 2, episode 4, Till Death. This aired on April 24th, 1990, and it originally came to us from the Vault of Horror comic. And I did want to address one thing that we haven't really addressed up until this point. We're just here because we genuinely enjoy the show. Okay. We're not experts. We are just fans trying to express our own opinions. And whether or not you agree with us, that's okay. If you disagree with us, let us know. If we get something wrong, let us know. If we leave something out, let us know. We're not here trying to pretend to be, these experts on this show. So we're definitely going to get some things wrong. We can definitely use your help. So feel free to reach out through the comments and share your thoughts with us. We won't take offense if we get something wrong and you correct us. We love the engagement we get from you. I don't know about Godden, but I know I can speak for myself that I get super excited when I see comments come through, and I'm definitely eager to read them and to respond to them. And that's why I like to bring them on to the podcast as well and share them right here on the podcast with everybody. So don't be shy. Reach out in the comments if you notice anything. And finally, before we get to the actual episode, spoiler warning, we're not here to just, talk about little things. We're here to really dive deep into the episode. So make sure you watch it before you watch us, because we're going to spoil some things for you. All right, let me go grab the DVD box set so I can read the synopsis. I should have had that right next to me.
It's okay. It's more fun to see, you grab it, come back.
I had it over somewhere else. Okay, so here we are. Till Death. Remember, these are super short synopses.
Oh, yeah.
Who do that voodoo? A scumball developer needing dough seeks occult help to land a millionaire bride. General thoughts on this episode. Godden, how did you feel about it? Did you like this episode? How did you feel about it?
I'm going to say banger. A straight banger. I liked it. It was really fun. Honestly, just how it hooked me within the start of the episode. I'm like, yeah, I have a good feeling about this one. But yeah, I'm glad it was consistent through and through. Honestly, I'd have been a little bit slightly upset if it wasn't up to my standard at that point from the first couple frames. So it's
yeah, I like this episode too a lot. And this is one of those that I didn't watch a lot. When I first bought these box set, DVD box sets a long time ago, I bought them, years and years ago. I remember watching through a bunch of them, and I do kind of remember this episode. And for some reason, my memory remembered back to this episode as me not liking it that much. So I was kind of here we go with this episode, whatever. And I loved it. This is hilarious, a hilarious episode. You know what I think it was? I think it was the whole voodoo angle. I don't know why, but the voodoo-ness of it is, I've never been a huge fan of voodoo in movies. To me, it just seems very inconsistent, how it works, what it does. And it's a little too ethereal for me. So that part of it kind of, I guess that part of it left kind of a sour taste in my mouth. But I don't know. I guess knowing that it was going to be featuring voodoo this time around made me warm up to it a little more. And I think once I got past that, the rest of the episode was just a blast. So this is a really good one. I'm glad that we went back, and I'm glad I gave this one another chance. All right. The Crypt Keeper intro. This is, I love the Crypt Keeper in this moment. He's chilling. His feet are up. He's wearing some sunglasses. He's totally relaxed. Like he's, on vacation in like the tropical, like Hawaii or something like that. Kind of a cute look for the Crypt Keeper. I did look to see if he was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or something. I didn't notice. Did you? Was he wearing like a vibrant shirt?
No. I want to say he was, because I was also distracted at like just stuff around, the frame, because once you get the vibe, I like to look at the other small things, like the spider and whatnot.
There was plenty of other things to look at, but I did kind of try to look for the only thing that was missing, I think, was the Hawaiian shirt. I don't think he was wearing one. But yeah, speaking of things that were around the frame, did you see the tarantula walk by?
Yeah, it was really nice.
Did you notice that it stopped? The tarantula stopped and like started scratching itself like a dog. And they even had a little sound effect for it. Did you notice that?
No, at that point, I think I was just listening to what Crypt Keeper was. But no, okay. I don't recognize it.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if it was a real tarantula. I think it was a real tarantula, but the way it stopped,
it looked pretty real.
Yeah, it looked real to me too. But the way it stopped and scratched itself as if it was like a dog's hind leg scratching its body, it just made me think, like, do tarantulas do that, or is that they must have just been lucky enough to get that in the shot?
8 legs. I'm sure one of them scratches itself.
So the Crypt Keeper opens up his book and he says, here's a tacky tropical tale of love and lust, greed and ghouls, and my personal favorite, death. I'm sure you'll find it appealing.
Appealing.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tale of, it's tropical, right? It was a tropical story. Love and lust, we got that going on. Greed and ghouls, we got that going on. He's not lying. Crypt Keeper is not lying. And his personal favorite, death. We have some death in this episode, absolutely. And I even like how he says I'll find it appealing because, some things do peel off of, we got some peeling going on here. We got all of it. We got all the above here. The opening panel here is like a man sleeping in a bed with kind of these sheets, like these purplish kind of sheets hanging behind him. And there's like a ghoul, like a skeleton greenish ghoul in bed behind him, actually licking his ear. And this ghoul is like grinning, like super happy and super into this man. And the weird thing I think about this so far is the man seems to be smiling. That's weird to me. I don't know. Like maybe he's sleeping and having a dream. But if he knew who was actually licking his ear, maybe he wouldn't be smiling.
Yeah. So he's just in the heat in that moment,
He's just in the heat of the moment. All right, I'll just roll with it. Yeah. And then even behind them still, behind the window of the room is some looks like a bride dancing outside under a full moon. So we have the moon, we've got some woman outside dancing, we've got the two of them inside in bed. Yeah, pretty creepy cover. I like it though. I like it. The episode starts, we're out in the jungle, and there's some very like traditional rhythmic music playing, and then we come across a bonfire with a bunch of people around the bonfire doing like some ritual dancing. They have some kind of ritualistic attire, like clothing on. They're very, very voodoo comes to mind, right? They're up to something voodoo. They're like caressing human skulls. They're holding snakes. There's a chicken because, of course, there's going to be a chicken with voodoo stuff going on. And one of the people there are holding a picture of a very handsome man with slicked back hair. They take the picture and they actually put it into the bonfire, and they all kind of dance around the bonfire while this picture envelops into flames. So that's our opening shot. So something's going on. And I think right away, this is kind of the stuff in voodoo that's always weird to me. Like, what are they up to? What's up with the chicken? What's up with the snake? Like
what's up with the chicken?
We need more concrete rules, I think, for voodoo for me to really gel with it. But clearly they're up to something, and it involves this man in the photo. Well, cut to scene 2. And we go right to this man who was in the photo, and he's in a very, very like upscale dining room with like he's wearing like white tuxedo. His hair's still slicked back just the way it was in the photo, and it's very, very high class. And it was an interesting shot to go from this, outside jungle setting around a bonfire with all these kind of very primitively dressed people into this very high class upscale room. It was an interesting juxtaposition. I enjoyed it. So this suave man we learn is Logan, right? Logan, what was his last name? I have it somewhere in my notes here.
I think Andrews.
Yeah, maybe it's Logan Andrews. Yeah, so this suave man, Logan, is talking with his business associate, Freddie. And they're talking about them having just purchased all of this land. The goal is to build a hotel on it and make a fortune. And while they're having this discussion, the two of them notice across the way that there's a gorgeous woman, and she's dressed up in a formal dress, right? And she's sitting at the bar. So they go and they approach her, and Logan welcomes her to the island, and he calls it an island in paradise. And this woman, her name's Margaret. Margaret responds, I'd hardly call it a paradise, how hot and humid it gets. And the food is so ethnic. And she has a slight pause before she says ethnic. And she the way she says ethnic is almost as if like it's a slur. Like she shouldn't be saying that word.
I think she's not used to not seeing any, people for her skin color. Just like now she's somewhere else.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because the people outside, right. The people outside were black or, African American, and everybody inside is white. So it definitely is some race thing perhaps going on. Oh, Margaret goes on to complain. She says, and the trip here was a nightmare. I'd hardly call it first class, more like steerage. And the way she says steerage again is like it's a slur of some sort. She's high class. She's very high class. She's not afraid of anybody knowing that. So their meeting is interrupted by, I don't know how else to call him, but like compared to what's inside this room, this filthy man comes in and says, "Boss, come quick. There'd be a terrible accident." So Logan follows him out to see what's going on. And there's like this weird boiling bog outside that these workers out there stumbled upon. I guess I describe it as quicksand, but I always imagine quicksand being like dry. I don't know why. This is like wet, muddy, like oily, gross. It's quicksand basically, but it's I just want to really paint the picture that it's, very wet and boily and gross. And the worker is telling Andrews that, it swallowed up one of the workers. So one of the workers is gone. And Logan just says, well, just fill it up. And the worker goes on to say, that's going to take more money than God. And at that point, Logan just throws his hat down into the bog, and you actually see his hat kind of, sink down into it.
There's a little bubble pop.
Right.
Do you know the name of the worker that died?
Was it Charlie? Was that his name?
Yeah, it was Charlie. I'm gonna miss Charlie.
Yeah,
that's what he says.
That was I like the delivery on that. It swallowed him up. I'm gonna miss Charlie.
Yeah.
So Logan, on the way back to the party, is stopped by Freddie, and Freddie notices that he looks a little stressed. So he says, looks like you lost your best friend, if you had one. And Logan responds, the entire island's a swamp. It's going to cost millions to build on it. My God, I'm ruined. And I like that exchange there, because he's coming to terms with the fact that he's going to lose millions on this. And the fact that what we can call his friend, right, his closest friend, tells him, looks like you lost your best friend. So maybe he did. Maybe money is his best friend, and he's lost it.
Greed,
right. Very, very greedy.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's where he eyes Margaret one more time at the bar. And he says to himself, she has to have millions in the bank. So this is his new angle of attack, right? If he can somehow seduce Margaret and then have that money flow from her, he can build the island up and build his hotel that he's always wanted and make that money. He wants to get his best friend back. So back inside, he tries to swoon Margaret. And he goes right next to her, starts pouring himself a drink, and he says, Miss Robertson, wasn't it? She says, that's Richardson. She says, funny. No one else seems to have trouble remembering my name. He's so suave, isn't he? He says, maybe that's because I'm too busy remembering your face.
Yeah. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
He got her that one.
The dialogue between these two, I think, makes this episode. These two characters together are absolutely they're both home run hitters. Both of them are absolutely hilarious. She leaves him there. She's not interested in him whatsoever. But before she leaves, she calls him a boorish young hustler. She sees right through this man. She's not interested in him, and she just leaves him hanging. But Logan's desperate, though. He doesn't only want her because he thinks she's beautiful. He wants her because he wants her money. So he basically needs her if he's going to make this whole island hotel thing work. So he goes to see what I'm going to call his old friend or his old acquaintance. She lives in a hut out somewhere in the jungle. He approaches her and knocks on her door, and she's not happy to see him. She tells him, our friendship is over. As soon as your fancy friends didn't approve of you bringing your own duck meat to the barbecue. Hello, everybody. Future Kenny here. Now, I need to address something before past Kenny goes on this huge rant. Okay. I just now realized that she didn't say duck meat. Okay. That would be ridiculous. What she said was dark meat. The reason they're not a couple anymore is because his friends wouldn't appreciate him having a black girlfriend. Okay. It's racist. It has nothing to do with ducks. Okay. I realize that now, and that's stupid, and I'm embarrassed for having said that. But future Kenny knows better. Okay. So keep that in mind. And now back to past Kenny being an idiot. So by the way, this is the voodoo lady. Her name's Saki. Okay. And this comment here made me think, like, what the heck was she up to? that whole line of dialogue right there, like, opened the floodgates. And it's got my mind thinking, like, what was she up to? That needs to be an episode. She was up to something, and she probably, did some voodoo magic on this duck meat and was all ready to have Logan bring it to the party. And then they were like, oh, no, you can't bring your own meat. And she was like, no, I've been foiled.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So anyway, Logan goes on to tell her that there's this woman that I'm interested in, but she doesn't find me as charming as you once did. So there's probably a little romance between the two of them in the past as well. And he says, I was hoping maybe you could do something. So she goes back into another room and comes back with some potion, a love potion. And she tells him, if you give her 1 drop, she becomes your wife. 2 drops, she'll be yours forever. And she gives him the potion, and then she kisses him. She kisses him very, very passionately. So clearly there's still some love that she has for Logan. But he pulls away from her, and he actually wipes his lips, to get her kiss off of him. And I thought that was an interesting dynamic, because here he is swooning after some girl who's not interested. Then he goes and gets help from a woman who's trying to swoon for his love, but he's not interested. He's caught in this, very interesting love dynamic. The one who does love him, he's not interested, but the one who doesn't want him whatsoever, that's the one he wants. So I thought that was an interesting moment there. All right. And then, so the next scene, we're in like a veranda of some sort, and Logan and Margaret are going over plans for building this new hotel. And she is just not interested in the place. She says the first 3 rules of real estate are location, location, location. And this location is disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. So she does not like this place. She does not like Logan. She doesn't like the location. She's not interested. So Logan at this point is realizing, okay, doesn't want me, doesn't want to help with this property. So I've got to do something. So he takes his little potion, drops a drop into her drink. She drinks it. And then suddenly the music starts to swell, and she starts to breathe heavily. And she goes, did it just get hot in here? And he says, yes, it did. And then they kiss. And then she slaps him. She says, over my dead body. Do you think the potion was doing something to her. It just hadn't kicked in yet. Or what do you think that whole thing was about?
Maybe she doesn't drink that kind of alcohol, and then she kind of just got too high and flashy with it right when she like took a swig.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, maybe it was the potion, honestly, because it didn't like react instantly. I guess it was just more physical, and then it didn't hit her till like a little bit later.
Yeah. And this is, I guess, the weird thing with voodoo and not having, clear cut rules is how long does it take to work? Do you have to drink the whole drop? Because he dropped one drop into her drink and she took a sip of it. Was that enough? Maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe it was too much. I don't know. Like, it's like that kind of voodoo stuff is always a little bit wishy-washy for me. So
it's like for you, it's like there's no concrete science. They're not putting the exact millimeter, they're a milliliter, and then
it's not chemistry. It's voodoo. It's very strange. But it was interesting. It was interesting though. On her way out, she says, "Over my dead body." So there's some foreshadowing going on there, y'all. Foreshadowing. So the next scene, we're in Logan's bedroom. He's sleeping alone, unfortunately. In a 4-post bed. So he has his 4-post bed. He's got the white flowy cloths hanging from his bed. It's much like the scene from the beginning of the panel. So there's that bed. And it's a very, very dreamy scene, right? There's a very misty with the flowing cloths going on. So you're not quite sure if he's dreaming or if it's real. This is a point in the episode where I was like, okay, is he imagining this or is this really happening? But Margaret comes in her silk pajamas, right? And she says, "I couldn't stay away." And he says, "Is everything okay, Margaret?" And she says, "Don't call me Margaret. Call me Maggie."
Maggie. Yeah.
And that, everybody, is that's my shriek of the week. It's not even from the Crypt Keeper. That's it right there. I laughed so hard when I heard that. It's the way her delivery was so on point. And if you watch this episode, you'll know she just like so sensual, like thrusts herself up to him, leaning on his bed. "Don't call me Margaret. Call me Maggie." Oh, it was so good.
I enjoyed it as well. It was really funny when she just said that. I'm like, oh, yep, that's the wife now, I guess. They're just like, "No, Margaret. I'm Maggie now."
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's like a dual personality, right? There's Margaret and there's Maggie, and I love Maggie. Maggie's hilarious.
Maggie is great, yeah. So
the next morning, apparently, the passionate lovemaking last night wasn't enough for Logan. This man's greedy. He wants more. So he actually doesn't just drop another drop of the love potion into her drink. He like dumps out a bunch, so much so that it changes the color of the drink itself. So he dumps all that there. He gives her the drink and he says, "To our undying love." She drinks it, and immediately this time, right? There's no delay in this one. She just absolutely throws herself onto him in like uncontrollable lust. She's completely enamored by him. So much so that she can't even control herself. She starts like writhing on the bed. And at this point, Logan doesn't know what to do, so he goes and gets his associate from earlier, Freddie. And at this point, Freddie's wearing a stethoscope. So he's a doctor. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh, no. Sorry. I did that after, actually. Because he says a line, and all that. That's why. But in the beginning, no, I don't remember him being a doctor. Just like I thought he was just another person there.
Yeah, there weren't many indications that he was a doctor up until this point when he's wearing a stethoscope, and then you realize, okay, this guy's a doctor. So anyway, he asks her. Freddie asks Logan, has she eaten or drank anything unusual? And then Logan says, "Not that I can think of." And at that point,
acting. Yeah.
At that point, Maggie sits up with one last burst of energy and says, "I will always love you." And then she dies. And that's her first death in this. And this is going to be an ongoing theme. Every single death from every single character in this is probably up there with some of the best deaths in Tales from the Crypt. And Tales from the Crypt is known for like over the top campy deaths. And this one does not disappoint. These are hilarious. The way she just flops back down onto bed so dramatically. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Also, I think it's important to note that this entire scene in the bedroom the following morning is intercut with shots of Saki back in her hut. And she's sitting at like a table full of candles and she's like chanting a bunch of voodoo words. I wonder like how much, and this is what I'm talking about with voodoo again. Here we go. Like, what is the limitations of this power? I don't know what's going on here. Is she like compelling Logan to give her more of the potion? Is that what's going on? Or I don't know. I don't get that part.
I don't think so, because when she was on the bed and she had just drank, more drops of it, at one point or another, she was reciting what Saki was saying. Like, whatever she was saying, it was coming out through Maggie as well.
Oh.
So
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they said?
It's like the voodoo chant. That's what happened. And then I think she was just doing something to the potion, like from where she was.
Oh, so Maggie
like
was
just continue on.
Maggie was saying what Saki was saying?
Yeah, like when she was lighting the candles and she was just reciting part of the voodoo chant. At one point, Maggie does say the exact same thing, like it was like line by line.
See, I didn't notice that. So there's some sort of connection there. Mm-hmm. So then I don't know. Then why? So I don't know. I'm at a loss here because I was thinking that she had some sort of a connection with Logan and was kind of compelling Logan to give more of the potion to Maggie. That's kind of what I was thinking of it. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, I think it's like she was just doing the whole ritual for the love potion because she probably knew that, what's it called? Mr. Andrews was going to give it to her at some point anyways. But
oh, right.
I mean, she said the instructions, just 1 drop, she's your wife. 2, she's with you for the rest of your life. But she didn't say how much, if you keep adding more. She never said anything about that. Just the 1 and 2. So she's probably just doing the basic stuff. But when, she had more, maybe that's just like something that happens. Like, I don't think she's done on purpose, she just told them how many drops and that's it.
Yeah. Or I wonder if maybe the love potion is only part of the magic. And in order for the love potion to work, you also have to recite these words. Maybe that,
or someone has to do it for you.
Yeah. Maybe that could be the way it squares in my mind. I don't know.
It's not a science. It's all feeling.
This is also, by the way, this overthinking that I'm doing right now. This is why I love slashers so much. Okay, it's a killer with a knife. Run away, right? Like that's the whole premise. This whole when you start to introduce voodoo, my brain goes on like overdrive, trying to piece it all together and make sense out of what's going on. So, anyway,
that's why I like Child's Play. That's the first thing he does is just voodoos himself into a doll.
Yeah, there is some voodoo in Child's Play, and that is it does kind of get itself into some funky areas, but I still enjoy Child's Play. I think it's because the voodoo is so toned down in the first one. They actually do make some clear rules about it, right? You say the words, you transfer your soul into the doll. Okay, I'm with you, right? I see. Okay. Then the first person that you tell who you really are, that's where the only other person that you can transfer your soul into. Okay, it's starting to get a little wishy-washy, but whatever. But part 2 they kind of get weird with it, and then part 3 I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That might be the weakest link of the first 3 movies would be the voodoo part of it. But that's what kickstarts the whole thing into play. So there you have it. Okay, I don't hate voodoo. Okay, that's not what I'm getting at. It's just it's not my favorite. Okay. Anyway, the next day after Margaret dies, or Maggie at this point, right after Maggie dies, they bury her. Right there. They don't even send her back home. They just bury her right there, in that swampy island. And Logan goes back to confront Saki and says, "You killed her." And Saki responds, "I only made it. You gave it to her." Because he did. He gave her so much of it.
Because he's so greedy. But yeah, it wasn't her fault. It was literally just his fault. But he just, didn't want to take blame that he killed his chance of getting money back. Right, all 4 million.
Right, he just wants his money back. Can I get a refund?
That's basically what's happening.
So the following night, we're at the grave, and he's kneeling at her headstone, and he says, "Margaret, Maggie, you were the biggest fish a guy could hope to land." And at that point, Maggie punches through out of the ground and grabs Logan and pulls herself out from under the ground and starts kissing him passionately. And he says, "You were dead." And she looks confused and she's like, "Dead? Yeah, we even had a funeral." At that point, she goes, "Oh, damn, I broke another nail." And this is the kind of back and forth that I just loved in this. It was like whenever somebody was at a 10, the other character would bring it back down to like, a 2. And that constant back and forth was always very, very funny. Once she pulls herself out of the grave, she says, "Oh, Logan, I never thought I'd see you again, kiss you again, make love to you again." And they start, kissing passionately, and she pulls him down. I wrote, she pulls him down lustfully, because I really, I felt that passion. These two had great chemistry, by the way. Mm-hmm. When she hated him and he was chasing after her, that was great chemistry. A lot of good one-liners there. And now that she's completely enamored with him, it's great chemistry again. Like, I just love their dynamic all the way through. Next scene, we're in the dining room. It's the next morning, and Maggie has prepared an entire table full of food. And when Logan walks in, she says, "I've been up since the crack of dawn cooking for my little snookle wookums." And she's just so like, she's on cloud 9, basically. She's so just like in love with Logan. She can't wait to see him. She loves preparing food for him. She's just so enraptured by him. And he says, "Smells like something died in here." And he looks at Margaret and he says, "Are you all right? You look a little off." And she says, "Don't be silly, darling. I feel energized, invigorated, positively reborn. Now, I want you to eat every last bite, because you're going to need all your strength if we're going to make love 5 times a day." And this moment here, I also kind of have a red flag, or a little note here. I noticed when he looks at her and says, "Are you all right? You look a little off." She looks fine to me. Do you think they wanted to add makeup or some sort of effect? It doesn't look like they did anything other than just make her look like Maggie.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's just to make us think like, oh, is there something off? Or maybe it's just one of those recordings like, yeah, if you just pay really close attention, maybe you find it, but probably just to mess with us.
Yeah,
or maybe there's just doubting.
Yeah,
there's something off.
Maybe the fact that he smelled something is what kind of cued him off. But yeah, she looked fine to me. She didn't look like there was anything going on. I would have figured maybe a little bit of peeling skin makeup would have gone a long way to kind of make that look better, or even some makeup around the eyes to make it look like they're more sunken in or something like that. I don't know, but she just looked fine to me, so that kind of stuck out to me. But when she leaves, though, she does leave eventually from the dining room, and he takes one last sniff of the air, and his face is repulsed. So maybe it was just the smell. So the next scene here, we're in the what do you call it? Logan and Freddie are kind of in a sitting room together, and they're talking about Margaret is still alive. He says, basically, "Doctor, I think you made the biggest mistake of your professional career. Margaret's still alive." And Freddie's like, "Oh no, I know a corpse when I see one. And besides, we even had her embalmed." But at that moment, Margaret walks in. She's wearing a red dress, very, very beautiful red dress. But her face at this point there's a lot of makeup on it, and she does look a lot more grotesque and ghoulish. So she walks in behind Freddie, and with a cleaver, she chops off his head. His head plops onto the table and rolls off the table. And then the camera pans up to see Logan, rightfully so, completely shocked, jumps out of his chair and steps back in horror. And in comes Margaret, and she says, "Oh, darn, there goes another nail."
Oh, Maggie.
I love this back and forth here. And like I said, at this point, the makeup effects are very, very grotesque, and the face is decaying off of her bone. So a lot more makeup effects went into scene here. So at this point here, you can see that she's dead and she's decaying. Logan has a realization. He says, "Oh my God, 2 drops, she'll be yours forever." And he says, "Oh my God." And he says so in the most deadpan way. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did like his acting and his delivery, honestly. I enjoyed watching and him just delivering lines. It was great.
It was good. It was good. 1 drop, She'll be your bride. 2 drops, she'll be yours forever. Oh my God. It's good. It's good.
It's like, what did I do?
So he turns around, he pulls a gun out from the dresser, and he shoots her. And Godden, I know you're an aficionado of guns. So he pulled out a 6-shooter, okay, a revolver, and he shoots her 6 times. How did you feel about that?
I was like, nice. I had to watch it again just to be sure, because I was doing something at the time, and I thought it was kind of in my head, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't go overboard.
No, they didn't go overboard. Although it would have been funny in and of itself to have her, have him shoot her like 8 or 12 times.
Just with the revolver, yeah. Some little like gag, yeah, that would work too.
So after he quote unquote kills her, he says, "Oh my God, I killed her. Wait, I can't have killed her. She's already dead." And at this point, she gets back up. Right, the bullets did nothing to her. She gets back up and she says, "Logan, how could you? I just bought this dress." And she opens up her arms and comes at him. "Oh, darling," almost like to give him a hug and another kiss. And at this point, we have like a good chase scene going on. He runs away. She chases after him, and they're running around the grounds of this island. She eventually catches up to him, but at this point, they've made it to that bog that we saw earlier. So they have that quicksand bog going on. And when she catches up to him, from this point on, this is some of the best makeup effects. This looked fantastic. The makeup is on point. The lighting also does wonders here. There's really good lighting here because it's nighttime, so it's supposed to be like moonlight. And the way it's creeping through the trees and lighting up certain parts of the face, especially with the makeup effects going on, I thought it looked really, really good here. So he steps back from her, but he steps into the bog. So he starts sinking. And the way he sinks here is also so funny. He's like waist deep in this bog. He throws his arms up. He's like, "No!" That was really funny too. So she reaches in and she saves him. She pulls him out. He's still like terrified of her. So he pushes her away. She falls onto the oil lamp that was out there. She catches on fire. So she's engulfed in flames. Her arms are spread open. She's going towards him. And she says, "Take me, Logan. I'm burning with desire."
I love that.
So he pushes her back. She falls into the bog and she sinks down into the earth. So she's buried again, basically. And back at the house, Logan is like, he's trying to relax himself, trying to calm himself down. He's got his bottle of whiskey. He's drinking that down. He's sitting on the floor and it's nice and quiet. And he hears like a slight knock at the window, like a tap, tap, tap at the window. And he turns around and then Maggie comes crashing through the window. At this point, she's like a full skeleton. And he backs away. He reaches into the medical bag and he drinks some sort of poison or something. And here's another death scene that is just absolutely had me rolling. It's so good. This episode has some of the best deaths in all of what we've seen so far in Tales from the Crypt. He drinks the potion and he's like, he's going through all these like just guttural sounds and just over the top acting. His eyes are wide open. He's staring straight forward. And then he falls down. And then he gets back up and he stares back at the camera. And then he falls back down. It's just so hamming it up. I absolutely love this scene.
It was rat poison that he drank, and then I was like, oh, there he goes. He's gonna just commit suicide now.
Oh, it was rat poison. There was rat poison in the medical bag?
Yeah, I guess so. And he drank the rat poison.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice it was rat poison. What the hell is a doctor doing with rat poison in his medical bag?
Oh yeah, well, the biggest mistake of his medical career was in London. That's why he moved down to the tropical island. He's like, that's why I ended up in this place. Before he gets his head chopped off. Yeah. So who knows?
See, you caught it. Okay, I'm glad you were watching the episode too, because I missed that part. See, I want the side story of the doctor. How did he get here? What was he doing with rat poison? I want the side story of Saki. What was she up to with that duck meat? There's a lot more episodes in this than just this one.
A lot of stories. I like it. Yeah.
After his death, the next scene we get is back at Saki's hut, and he's tied up in bed with candles all over the place. and she spits some sort of liquid onto him from his mouth, and he springs back to life. He says, "I thought I died." And she says, "You did, but I had to bring you back. There's someone who's just dying to see you." And at this point, Maggie is just a complete skeleton. And the makeup effects here look great. And she leans in to give him a big kiss. There's like clumps of dirt stuck into pieces of her skeleton. Her tongue's like coming out of her mouth. It's really, really gross. It looks fantastic though. And it might not be makeup effects here. It might just be an actual like what do you call it? Like animatronic of some sort. Because the way the tongue was coming out of the mouth, it didn't look like it was makeup effects at this point, but it was really good practical effects nonetheless.
And him screaming at the end.
That scream. That was good too.
I mean, yeah. It's like, what can you do, right? You scream at that point.
So, and then we go back to the Crypt Keeper. And he still has his sunglasses on. He's still kind of doing his tropical thing. He says, "Well, Saki can work that old black magic on me anytime she wants. And how about Maggie? Girls like that are pretty hard to dig up."
I like that line a lot.
Yeah. That's the episode right there. And the Crypt Keeper is clearly interested in Saki's voodoo magic. He definitely is interested in a corpse of a bride. But that's the episode. As a whole, Godden, what are your thoughts?
I had no issues with this episode, honestly. I wish it was just longer, I guess, but I was thrilled to watch this and how it like paced out.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a really, really good one. Yeah, when I watched it years ago, like I said, I think the voodoo aftertaste in my mouth was kind of putting me off of it. Not really wanting to watch it again. I'm glad that we're doing this podcast, because without this podcast, this would have been one of those episodes I would have just always said, let's just go to the next one. And, really forcing myself to go through and just go through every single episode, like resurfaces all this potential. I guess the first time I was watching it, I just was stuck on the voodoo part of it. I wasn't really thinking about the performances. They're hilarious. I absolutely love the chemistry between Maggie and Logan. They were absolutely incredible. And I want part two. You want part two? What would you give this episode, Godden?
Oh, that was a hard one. I was literally just scrambling that as, we're nearing the end here. I had no issues with it. Like, I really just loved every bit of it. I'm kind of scared to give it a 5, like off the gate, like here right now, and then change in the future if I'm like, oh, there's a better one for the season. But I'll give it a 4.7 because I'm really like in between about like giving it a 5 or not.
4.7. Godden, you and I are on very similar footing on this. I was between a 4.5 and a 5. I was kind of like floating back in between. So I actually decided to split the difference and go 4.75. So if you're doing 4.7, I'll do a 4.75 for an average of 4.725.
Nice.
So this is a good episode.
Yeah.
I just feel like not quite the 5 because the first time I watched it, I just for some reason, my first impression of this episode is I didn't like it. And then watching it again, I realized how much fun it really was. So maybe the voodoo aspects of it are kind of weird. I don't know. I have a thing with voodoo, everybody. I'm sorry. Okay. So there you have it. Nice. Good episode. I would absolutely now at this point, if I was introducing a new friend to Tales from the Crypt, this would be an episode that we would definitely be watching.
Yeah.
This would not be one that I would be skipping on. Okay. Let's move on then. Correspondence. So we have heard from a couple of people since our last episode. John Lindsay is writing to us from YouTube, and he writes regarding the episode Only Sin Deep, which was, what was Only Sin Deep? Was that from last season?
Yeah, and it was when she has a bust of herself.
Yes. Wait. That one also had voodoo in it, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that was the one where the pawn shop person took her beauty And then she ended up decaying away. Anyway, John Lindsay says that episode was a lot like The Substance and Stephen King's Thinner. Now, I definitely see the similarities between Stephen King's Thinner, because that one, over time, he's a big fat guy, but he decays and gets, thinner and thinner and thinner until he eventually wastes away to nothing. So I definitely see that, how you kind of change over time. But I got to admit, I've never watched or seen The Substance. Have you?
I have. I could see that as well, because it's about like this dated like yoga model, like the ones that did the aerobic fitness that you see like on like the old TVs. But she becomes dated with her career, and she does hear about this drug, or come across this drug that will make you younger realistically. So she takes it, and then it's a body horror. So like she like comes out of her spine basically, in a way. She had to cut it open a little bit, and then she comes out and she's like 19-20-year-old version of what she was, because she's like 50 or hitting 60 in this one. So that's like the whole thing. She just wanted her youthful like look, and she just uses it to do the same career, really.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's fun. It's also a fun movie, but yeah.
Yeah. And you said body horror. I like that kind of stuff. I'm assuming lots of practical effects in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I love that kind of stuff. I love marveling at what people create. I love that. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. You'll like it.
Okay, good.
All that.
Okay. We have another correspondent from Joseph Hill. Joseph Hill writes back to us, and this is about the episode The Switch, which was that Arnold Schwarzenegger episode with the old man who switches bodies with the younger man. He says, unlike most other episodes, the protagonist isn't really the bad guy. I feel like with the ending twist, the villains actually come up on top. And I like that interpretation, and I agree with that interpretation. What was the old man's name?
I forget his name.
I forget too. Gosh darn it. It'll come back after we finish recording this episode. It'll come back to us. Winston or Churchill, or I don't know.
Let me see.
Yeah, I feel like he wasn't necessarily ill-intentioned. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He wasn't trying to do anything bad or evil. He was just trying to turn himself into somebody who he thought she wanted, is kind of a thing. I guess maybe there is a little bit of a flaw in there in a person who wants to change that much, but is it really that villainous though? I mean, he didn't like attack her or like, push himself onto her. He was just trying to give her what she wanted. And it turns out what she wanted was just the money. Carlton.
Yep.
The old man's name was Carlton. Yeah. Okay.
Poor Carlton. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you, John Lindsay and Joseph Hill, for those comments. I appreciate those. Keep them coming. I want to move on to shout outs. Teach Her Amma. Teach Her Amma is a Futurama podcast. Kayla is her name. She's never watched Futurama, and she's doing this podcast with her two brothers who are big fans of Futurama. So they go through each episode, and then basically they talk about what they love about the episode, and then she talks about her first impressions of the episode and the show as a whole. So it's an interesting podcast. I definitely enjoy it. If you like Futurama, check it out. I discovered a new podcast, Godden.
What did you discover?
It's called Haddonfield Radio. Oh, okay. This is a good one. It's on YouTube as well, but I listen to it on Spotify on my bike rides. I go on long bike rides, for like an hour or two, and then I can throw these on. These are long episodes. They basically, it's a commentary podcast. So they watch each movie in the Halloween franchise, and they just basically do a commentary for the entire movie. And I've seen the Halloween movie so many times where I don't really need to watch the movie to know what's going on. I just kind of know what the scenes look like. So it's great for someone like me or someone, who's familiar with these movies. But basically these guys just kind of babble through the entire movie, and I love it. There are a couple of really good personalities. They bring a lot of good insight to each show, each movie. So yeah, I've done quite a few episodes already. I'm at, where am I at? The Rob Zombie remake. So that's
okay.
As far as I got. They basically going through every single of the Halloween movies. And when I'm finished with that, they also have gone through all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. all of the Friday the 13th. So they do more than just Halloween. If you're interested in, if you like those horror slasher movies and want, you know, a good commentary on those guys are pretty good. That's Haddonfield Radio. I'll leave a link to their information down below. And then I'm still listening to, don't forget about Creeps of the Crypt podcast, as well as the Crypt Keepers podcast. There's a lot of podcasts out there that are horror related and Tales from the Crypt related. So I'll link those below as well if you're interested in seeing other people's perspectives. All right, and next week we'll come back at you for season 2, episode 5. Three's a Crowd. If you want to follow along with us, watch that episode before next week, and we'll be here to babble on about it. Don't forget to send us your thoughts and comments, and we'll share those on the podcast. If you're interested in us personally, my name's Kenny, and I can be found on YouTube as well as Twitch at Too Bad About Kenny. That's Too Bad, Too Bad About Kenny, as well as the number 2 Bad About Kenny. I can be found at both. And Godden, how about you?
They can find me playing on Twitch on UAPPO, then the number 6. And they can also find us on our Twitter, Cryptiquers. It should be our Cryptique podcast one, and they can keep up with updates or even, you know, do correspondence on there, and I can share.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me about Twitter. I forget about that so often, Godden. I'm so glad that you're doing that for us.
Twitter.
I'm so out of date. I got this YouTube thing under control. I feel like I've kind of got that. I got that down. But anything above and beyond that is just, my brain gets going too much. It's voodoo magic is what that stuff is, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all next week for our next episode. Take care now. Bye-bye then.